This shows you how to set up extra parameters for the fermentation software manager, and particularly in this case for a gas analyzer. The first thing you need to do is to make a note of which fermenter you're actually on, in this case number 2. Then we go to configuration, edit system setup. This takes you to setup screen, and you need to make sure you're on your correct fermenter. Now we're going to add an extra parameter which we're going to call gas O2. We choose the number of decimal places. We're going to go for 1, and now we're setting a default set point. This is really just the set point that will be used in the beginning. In this case we're measuring only, so we don't really need it, but we'll put it in at, say, half normal value, 25. You then need to set the high and low alarms, and the high alarm we're set at the maximum range, which we'll say is 50. Next is the chart. What is the default chart range that you need? We would normally go for the maximum range, in this case for oxygen, which is 50. Do we want the alarms embedded? In other words, do we want the alarms to start immediately? In this case, no, we don't. And then the most important thing is, where are we going to pick this signal up from? And we're going to pick it up from channel 7. The next we put in the gas again, CO2, and this time we're going to go for 2 decimal places. We have a range of 10%, so we'll set our default set point at 5%, and we'll set our default alarm at 10%. We'll set our default chart at 0 to 10%. We won't embed the alarms, and this time we're going to pick the signal up from channel 8. We then click OK. It tells us we need to quit and restart the program. OK. We then go to File, Exit. Are you sure you want to quit? OK. We've now restarted our program, and when we go to our fermenter number 2, we find we've now added the 2 extra parameters. If you go to the settings, you'll find the default set point and the default alarms already in there for you in both cases. And if you look at the chart range, you'll find that we've got the 0 to 50% chart range that we put in, and the 0 to 10% chart range we put in. That doesn't mean you can't alter them, of course. You can change this to 5% as you would normally. So we've now got a 0 to 5% range. And the same, of course, goes for the alarms, and we can always rechange this now to, say, 30%. So the default settings we put in really just give you the initial setup. So this is basically how you add the extra parameters, and particularly the gas analyzer. So if you have any questions, then just drop us an email. Thank you.